Chapter 5. I feel like up to this point I tried really my best to kind of describe the traditions of Romania as the country and traditions as Damian family, as the family union. A little bit about, kind of gives you an idea of relationship-wise, what things, how things are. And a little bit, just started a little bit on an emotional level, how I started to think about life, about, I guess, my part in life, my part in the family, my part in the country, trying to figure out where I fit and all that. And those, remember, those were teenage years. And if you remember quite right, and if you're a teenager right now, those years are extremely dramatic from a point of an emotional level for girls, and it's just such a age of learning and at the same time confusion and frustration and trying to figure out where you fit as a human being within your own beliefs, your family, your society, and all that. So mine was the same. From a political point of view, that's when around Christmas time of 1989, it's when the revolution of 1989 started in the Eastern European bloc, and you found few of that information in previous chapters, as I've mentioned, and so I'm not going to comment too much on that, as I want to move on. And this chapter is a little bit suspenseful, a little bit of personal encounter with the idea of a revolution and the factual part of a revolution. That being said, Hunedoara city had some trials during the revolution, but not nearly as dramatic as the city of Timișoara, which that's where the revolution movement started in the country of Romania. And the city of Bucharest, which was the capital, and that's south, and few other cities, more major cities. I think there was a lot more just traumatic tragedies going on, a lot of deaths, a lot of shooting, a lot of torturing, a lot of just needless, I think, deaths a lot of the times. Through that time, that's what happens when people, my opinion, this is I think what happens when people of that don't know what's really going on, they think they can take matter in their own hand, and then they just go and hurt even people that just happen to be in the area of turmoil, maybe on their way to buy groceries or something like that, and here they end up being shot or tortured or killed in just very wrong ways. And we've seen that in Romania, not as much in the city that I grew up in, so I just wanted to kind of clarify that. However, the chapter starts, as you will see, with rifle shots, not the one, like single gun, one shot rifle. It was multiple shots, one after another, and it felt like forever. And I'm not quite sure how long it lasted, because some lasted short, some lasted longer, and some lasted very long, at least in the perceived emotional kind of trauma in that moment. You just feel like it just never ends. All you hear around is all this rifle gun shooting, and we didn't know where it was coming from. It from the sound of it, it felt very close, and so we didn't want to get shot, which it happened. I guess people were shot by random bullets that went through windows and hit the people in the house, and they died that way. They're very rare, very rare. But I've heard stories of that afterwards. So of course we hit the floors, and we do that for quite a while, and then when we realized that the sounding of the shooting, it was becoming less strong, so giving us the understanding that whatever was going on out there, because we didn't know, and we didn't want to go find out either, it was moving away from us and towards the center of the city. And that's when we started to feel a little bit more safe. We still heard it throughout the day, but it was further. You could hear that it was just further away, so we felt safer. And that's when my mom decided to send both me and Aline, I'm the oldest, Aline is next in line, to buy bread and potatoes, maybe some other groceries, I just don't remember. I just remember the bread and potatoes. And as you've seen described, we really tried to avoid the main road, and at one point we couldn't because the stores were lining up the main road, and you had to kind of go on the main road, and that it describes what we seen, which were troops marching down the main road and tanks. And it really, I mean, the noise, even now I remember the sound of that, those just boots hitting the ground, you know, at a marching kind of rhythm, and those heavy tanks and the windows shaking, and you just hear this, you know, just, oh, even now I remember that. So we purchased our groceries and made our way back through the back ways, zigzagging through apartment buildings. We were experts of that because we grew up there. Any other foreigner would have totally lost their way. So, but yeah, about the sour face sales lady, always, and every sales lady in Romania had a sour face, unless you knew her personally. So I was used to it because we grew up with that. So then the next crazy thing that I don't know what my mom was thinking at the time, I couldn't believe it, is for her she dished food and sent me, and then later on she asked me to, well, later on, right before I left, she asked me to take my brother Marius, who is fourth in line. So there's me, Aline, Sergio, and Marius is fourth in line, to be with me just in case I was afraid. As if Marius was gonna be like Superman or something and totally rescue me in case something happened. So, and you'll be able to read, I had a lot of anger, and I wished I was very sarcastic in my way of thinking, and I just really got annoyed because I felt like, here I'm coming to try to help you, to feed you, because it's so cold outside, and it's, I'm not sure if you guys have any food or anything like that, and here we're coming to try to help you, and we're treated like the enemy with suspicion. And I never bother looking through their point of view, realizing that they themselves were teenagers pretty much, and they were in this war, and of course they didn't want to die, and it's that self-preservation. I didn't think of that at the time. Now looking back I'm thinking about it, but not at the time. I wasn't thinking like that. I was just so annoyed that I was not welcomed with open arms and flowers thrown and praises sang to me because I was such a heroine bringing food to them. Instead I was treated with such disrespect, and that annoyed the living lands out of me. It was very scary. I will not deny that. It was very, very scary. It was very scary. I still feel the coldness of that rifle just put, you know, it was right here and on the top of my forehead, I mean on the middle of my forehead. I still feel that feeling, and I never want to have that experience ever again. Never want, you know, a gun put to my head. And I remember just how terrified I was when we were walking back and our backs were turned to them, because I really did expect that they were going to shoot me in the back. And Marius was ahead of me, so I was hoping that if that did happen, he would get away. And even now I remember just the stress that those few steps between the soldiers and the safety of my apartment caused me, trying to, hoping but actually really expecting a bullet in the back. So that didn't happen, which is yay, great. You know, great things. So anyway, that's the end of chapter 5. Hopefully that helps you a little bit with the commentary, and we'll return with chapter 6. Bye bye.